me, oh my. Oh me, oh my. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I'm looking at the calendar. The calendar, in fact, is saying that it is Tuesday. Oh man, what a day so far. Oh my god, and my webcam. Hold on just a minute. Let me go to the old properties here. Oh, all my things are breaking. All of them are breaking. Unbelievable. Let me go to activate there. There it is. Let there be light. All right. So we're rocking Super Metroid. Feeling it today, man. Feeling the games. Feeling good. Feeling good. Hope you all are doing well. Enough fun and games. We've had 4 streams of working on Calamity, a card art piece that I love very much. It's been whooping our butt a little bit, just getting all the things balanced out. But today we finish it. Today's enough. We're taking the gauntlets off. I have like a half gauntlet on, so I don't smear my hand stuff all over my monitor. But anyway, I'm in a mood today. I won't say why. Some people know. But no, big day. But also, anyway, enough about that. Most importantly, let's go look at Varia right now. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. Let's take a look. See where we're at. So this is where we left off. Have a lot to do today, but what I'm gonna actually do today is not worry so much about detail. I'm just gonna finish this thing. We're gonna bust on through. I'm focused today. We need to make this happen. Due date is in 48 hours, actually. Well, actually less than that. Due date is on the 28th, I believe. Yeah. So we gotta get it done. It just has to get done. Has to. So, I'm gonna try to be a little talkative while I'm doing this, do some insight. If you have any questions, feel free, chime in. I love to chat with you. If you want to lurk, hang out, listen to some tunage, A-okay with that as well. So primarily, we are going to be adding some depth and some misery to Koro, the Blood God. We are going to be rendering out more dragon head stuff, because I don't like the way this looks right now, so we're going to fix it. We are going to add some more gore and more visible gore to the decapitated head of Dagon. We are going to fix Wizard's head. I've not done it for too long. I have to just do it. I have to dig in, I have to do the hard part, I have to grit my teeth and bear it and get it done. Kid actually looks okay. We're going to smooth some of this out. We're going to refine a little bit of it. Then we're going to render out some more glass. Primarily, this is reading okay. I like how it's reading, so we're going to keep this. But that does not mean that we're happy with it. Not yet. We're there. We're 75 to 80% there, but we're not all the way there. So let's get to it, man. Let's do it to it. Start with our buddy Koro here. Something I thought about doing. Let's bring up some Leatherface art. I did some Leatherface art yesterday. Let's make him look scary. Like, genuinely, let's make him look messed up. I dig it. I want to say they're doing a remake, another remaster thing of Texas Chainsaw. And I thought I saw the new art and I thought it looked dope. Where was that at? Where was that new art? Here's some right here. All right, here we go. Where's the rest of it at? There's our boy. There's a little bit. Here's a little bit right there. All right. So we have something like this. Cool. Let's take these and move them over. That way they're kind of on their own. So if we really want to just dig in and make him look creepy as hell, let's do that. Oh, not on the curves. There we go. See, I think what makes the Leatherface mask so creepy is it's like bubbly. I mean, there's a lot of things that make it creepy, but one of the things is it's sort of almost like decayed. Because I mean, literally, it's someone else's face, which is pretty hardcore. Pretty hardcore. So we're not going to be that gruesome with Koro, but Koro is a blood god, so he needs to have that little bit of blood godness, as it were. So really what we're doing, we're adding very dark darks, pretty much completely black. Just a few pixels off of pure black to do the depth of what we're looking at here. And also that's going to help that glass pop a little more. Let's do this. All right. So, Koro's looking okay. I'm gonna change this a little bit. I think I'm gonna... This doesn't look quite right to me. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take the same motif, but we are going to... We're gonna take that same motif of kind of the flowing, ripped, shredded cloth. Because what I want for Koro is like an executioner mask. I want that to look, but it's a long, flowing one. We are gonna do the mixer brush. We are gonna heavy mix it. We're gonna figure this out. We're just gonna paint till it looks good. Let's do this. Load a solid color only. There we go. So we're doing kind of the ripped look here. And see, this is going to be so small on the card you won't even be able to see it, but I'll know it's there. So I want this to look as good as possible, you know? So that is definitely my purview here. We're gonna blend these in, take that out. And then we'll kind of swirl out some of these harsher lines. Because we don't want our focus, of course, is on Koro's face, which is why it has the highest amount of contrast. The rest of this is just kind of accoutrement. They are accessories to point back to the main idea. So I'm even going to use that mixer. Come up here and mix a few of these. Maybe something like that. Okay. Yeah. So see how the dark eyes really make that pop. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah. So we have those dark eyes popping right there. I mean, yeah. Koro, I think, looks okay. I may do that thing to where I add in Koro's hand. Kind of the death hand, as it were. Where? There it is. Copy. Here we go. Check this out. We're going to edit, paste in here. We are going to screen this. That way all the black goes away. Now we can kind of manipulate the hand on one of these glass shards. I think that'll be a pretty cool little Easter egg. So something like... All right. So we have this. Of course, we can mess with the opacity. If that looks a little too bright right now, we can just go in and taper down the opacity. But what I'm doing is I now have my mask on. We are going to... Oh. Ooh. There we go. We are going to mask out parts that are not... There we go. So this kind of inlays within on the glass piece. And then we're going to go over the edges to really make this read as if it is kind of imbued within this glass. The thing is, we want the brightest whites to be on the edges of the glass and not on Koro's emblem, because it's on Koro's emblem, it may still look okay, but I also don't want it to break that illusion that this is on a piece of shattered glass. You know what I mean? I don't want that to be the thing. Let me bring that in. There we go. So like... this in. And then we're going to do a few textured brushes. Let's do canvas. It's going to give some nice grit and really kind of use that noise of the brush to blend in into that glass. See what I mean? So really what that is, that's just going to be a nice Easter egg. So there's the hand of Koro's emblem, right in this glass. And what I might actually do is lower this opacity a little bit, because right now, as you zoom out, it's, you know, at 100%, it's a little too much, I think. It's just a little, I don't know, just a little bit too loud. So if we lower that opacity, let's see, that's a little too low. Something like that. So it's still there, it's within the glass shard, but it's not overwhelming the piece. It's just like a nice little Easter egg that we can put in there. Yeah. Go ahead and save what we got so far. Get a whole bunch of emails. Oh man. All right. Oh, whole bunch of new ArtStation followers. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. My phone just keeps buzzing over here, and I was like, "What is happening?" So I was getting some emails. All right, so we're probably going to revisit Koro, do some very finishing touches here in a little bit. But the thing that's kind of nice about having 3 different compositions in a piece is you can bounce around. So we worked a little bit on Koro. Now we're going to work a little bit on the dragon, on Dagon. We're going to make this neck where this beheading happened a little more prominent. Same thing on kind of the gore of the beheading. We're not going to make it too gritty and realistic, but we want to bring it to the forefront because the beheading of Dagon is kind of a big deal. Like in the lore of Varia, this is a big one. So we want to make sure, that's why I actually centered it up in the composition. So the beheading is right here, because with a card game, as you know, you read what the text is. So Dagon's beheaded head is falling into the text of the card. So I wanted that to like dive in. You know what I mean? So we're gonna refine this shape a little bit more. We're gonna work on the blood. I do like the blood, how it looks like it's on the glass shards, and it almost looks like the glass itself helped cut Dagon's head, because I think that's a really cool idea. Our warrior, I think, is okay. It's not super detailed, but the warrior doesn't have to be. The main idea of this one is not that a warrior cut off Dagon's head. The important part is Dagon's head is now off. Now, instead of 7 heads, Dagon has 6 heads. That's the main idea. So we really just want to make sure that this head looks okay. We kind of tie in the design element a little bit. And then we're just gonna... This is the one, man. Having the wizard's head look like the sorcerer, not facing the viewer. Like, if there's a way I could have made this harder on myself, I don't know what it could be. But we'll get there. You gotta push through it. There's parts of this for every art piece you're ever gonna do. It's just the head scratcher. You want to try to design stuff in such a way that you don't run into these too much, but every once in a while, you're gonna kind of work yourself into a corner and you gotta get out of it. And that's what we're gonna do over on this side. So the boy looks okay. I'm gonna kind of adjust this orange. It looks a little too orange for me. Yeah, something, just, there's something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So let's start on the old dragon head. What do you say? So really what this is... This perspective has to look right from a distance. Because remember, I mean, this is going to be on a card. The visibility of this art is not going to be like, it's not a poster. Like, this isn't a huge size thing. So you can kind of get away with, because I mean, on the card itself, it's going to be about that big. Maybe about that big. So we really need to find a way to make sure that the design still reads well at that size. And I think I know how to do that. Let's bring this glass shard further down. Same thing here. And let's get rid of this entirely. So see, now at this, the red is a little bit more apparent at a small size. So it's going to drive your mind into this. Let's go File, Save, Select All, Edit, Copy Merged, Edit, Paste. Okay. So with this, okay. Got that. Let's go to image rotation, vertical. Now we're gonna work on this. It has to like render it out. Now we're gonna work on this upside down. You wanna talk about trippy stuff? Check that out. What? So this is what it's gonna look like from the other player, like as you put down the card on the field, what your opponent is gonna see. But really what we're doing here is working on this Dagon head. It's just easier to work on this upright like this. Because it looks more, you know, like a dragon head. So and then his let's actually try to get this actually needs to come out quite a bit more, doesn't it? His little snoot, little dragon snoot. Brr. I know it's probably not the noise Dagon makes, by the way, so don't take that as lore or anything. I'm sure he's a little angrier than saying grr, you know, especially getting one of his heads chopped off. Like that's a bad day. It's a bad day. So really the tricky part right now is to try to get this silhouette of the head to read okay with the glass in front of it. Because I like the idea of the glass in front of it, and I also like the idea of, actually let me darken that. I like the idea that like the glass going over top of it makes it weird to read. Makes this harder to read as far as like shapes and stuff. Because I think that's a cool look. It's a little abstract art, but I think it's effective in telling the story. And that's always first on the list. I mean, because Varia especially, but like any card game, any tabletop game you work on, it's all lore. That's really what you're selling, is the lore. So people can tell their own stories, you know? Yeah, see this, I'm feeling better about this Dagon head now. So what I'm gonna do, let me come in, I'm gonna straighten this out, because we're gonna add some teethers. Would his teeth go up that far? Maybe. And then here is where we get almost like crocodile teeth. You know what I mean? Like, because they have to also rest on gums. Something like that. All right. So now we have that. That's cool. So that's a little blurred. I actually don't mind that this kind of out here is a little blurred. In fact, I might even blur a little bit of these angles and stuff here in a minute. But what I need to get... What are we looking at here? Probably this. If we come over here. Yeah. That's such a fun thing about digital, is you can literally just flip the canvas. You know? Like, you can just manipulate stuff, you know? I mean, you can do the same thing with a real canvas. You just turn it upside down and, you know, work that way. But it's just nice to be able to have that type of flexibility. And then we can add some, like, nasty looking scar stuff, you know, to our dragon friend here. It's almost like a T-Rex, which I actually think looks kind of cool. All right, so got that. All right. And here. And that blood look like that. Have some of this blood come up. All right, so then we're also going to have a little bit of this blood right up here on Dagon himself. So we got that. Ooh, what we could do is make some nice nasty like skin tear. Almost like the chop wasn't as clean. Something like that. All right. Now what we do, look at that. Now let's see how this looks. So save. Image, rotation, flip vertical. Yeah, and see, it's funny because it looks, doesn't look like we did a whole lot, but we really did. We added some more shape, some more value to it, a little bit of that bounce light, that tilted light from where the glass hit. I'm gonna work on this design right here. Then we're gonna figure out old man wizard here. And I think I'm actually gonna do some color adjustments to the back clouds and stuff, because this doesn't really read the way I want it to yet. And then we're going to start messing around with the brightness and contrast, because it has to read super clean small. And it does okay right now, but there's ways that we can really draw the eye to the places that we want them to look that we're going to do. But I'm going to get some more coffee real quick. I will be right back. Here, let's where's our dragons? Dragons! Okay. So yeah, we can get some of these dragons, and I will be right back. All right, we're back. Boom, boom. All right, get our trusty glove on. Hope you guys are doing okay. Good start to the week. Weather's okay in Texas. Stuff's going good. So let's see. Yeah, and there was our lighting in Blender. My amazing 3D skills right here. So here's what we'll do. Let me... Yeah. So with that... we are going to fix... and that's going to stay behind the glass. See, and this just ends up being a tangent, so we want to get rid of that tangent. Same thing here. So that angle works a little better. This is going to work a little better. Just have to be a little more confident in my shapes, I think, to have this read better. All right. There we go. So now the shape is reading a little more full, a little more three-dimensionally, which is good because we want that to be the case. And then we are going to come over here. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. It's really just about looking at it as a 3D form and lighting it that way. Well, that's kind of a cool idea. Huh. I did that on accident, but what if Dagon's eyes were like that? Check that out. Yeah, boy. I don't even know if that's lore appropriate, but I think that looks dope. Little dual pupil action. Huh. It makes him look more monstrous. That's cool. And then let's actually get rid of that line. All right. Yeah. So now he's looking a little more fierce, a little more rendered out. Get some of these teeth a little sharper. Yeah. There's our buddy. There's our 6, used to be 7-headed buddy. All right. Let me mess with this real quick, because I don't want it to be a super smooth horn. I like the horn looking kind of that Monster Hunter craggy, jagged. So let's try something here. And then we're gonna mess with the silhouette a little bit here. So it's a little more, you don't want to say demonic, but that is sort of what we're going for. There we go. Gives it just a little bit more personality on the horn side of things. Then we're going to bring in some of those pinks. So now it looks like it's getting a little bit of that kick light from the other glass shard. We will also come and kind of carve in two. There we go. Well, there we go. A little bit of shape variety there. A little bit more personality. Okay. Let me refine this axe a little bit more. And then there we go. A little bit of variety in the shapes. So they're all circles, but you don't want them to be exact copies. So we put that little horizontal line coming at different angles, almost like it's a screw that you screw in, and then they got at their tightest point at different torques, like different angles. So it just adds a little bit of visual flair. Those are the easy ones. Like, if you just want to add a little bit of variety to whatever piece you're working on, even if you have the same shapes, make the angles slightly different. Humans are very good at looking at patterns, but then if you break that pattern up, it looks way more detailed than it actually is, which is funny. It's a good way to trick the brain, you know? And actually, what we're gonna do, said we weren't gonna do this, but let's kind of render a little bit more of this face right here. And over here. Brighter kick, a little brighter. There you go. See, add a little bit of face variety. I mean, you usually want the faces to look really smooth, but in this one, cool to kind of keep it a little more rugged. And then what we're actually going to do, this other neck, we need to bridge this gap a little bit, I think. And then here, add another little shard. Keep it fairly white. There we go. All right, so now we work on Deuter. Here we go. All right. Stretch out. This is the big one. And then after this, I think we will be ready to rock and roll. And send that one in. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring this down because we need to give more canvas space to have the head read better. We just have to have more of a solid look. And we also have this. All right, something like this. Let's get rid of that ice shard because we want his nose to read correctly. So there we go. See, it's starting to read better already because we're giving the composition more space to breathe. Do this. All right. The angle's so difficult. And then I wonder with the hair if we can just kind of scramble in the glass shards, kind of like what we're doing here. That way it still reads correctly with the composition, but we also don't have to spend all of our time like rendering hair at a weird angle. So we can maybe see, and like it's already reading a little better. Might even have to make his head a little bigger. So if we did like and then we can kind of bridge these together. So got that. And then maybe we can even have that beard read, but then we come over on the shadow. See what I mean? There we go. Okay. So now I'm feeling a little better about our wizard here. You know. Let's come over. Let's get more white. Okay. Right. So we have this. Let me bring in that. All right, and I know I talked about tweaking this color because now, like, the colors are okay. I do want to change over the colors of the little boy. I think like his hair looks okay. I might darken it a little bit. His skin tone's a little too fluorescent orange. It doesn't read the way I wanted it to. It'd be fine if it was its own composition, because then we could make, you know, the colors, the chroma's higher, the saturation higher, but with the context of what it's in right now, it doesn't quite fit. But a slight tweak, I think, will help it. Because, I mean, it looks fine for what we got here, but even you'll notice mine is way more orange, like on that orange spectrum, than what we got here. If we take this color, gray it a little bit, and make it a little more orange, I think we're gonna get closer. So see, like that. I think that's a closer skin tone. And that's gonna be something, you know, we just kind of drop it in, overlay it. We can come in and refine it here in a little bit with a color picker, but yeah, look at that. That already looks a little more natural skin tone for the kid instead of the bright craziness. Now, it's cool to have some of that bright chroma in there. We might keep it around the edges of the glass because that's going to show that the light is hitting the edge of the glass and it's adding a different spectrum to it. So we can use that to our advantage for sure, but there we go. So we're actually going to get a little more of that darker color and start coming in here. Start really refining these shapes. Chill here. Maybe like, yeah, man, great to see you. Very good to see you. Oh my goodness, blue counterspell. Thumbs up to you, my friend, for for that follow. So yeah, we're just finishing this one off. Gonna be sending this one to Anthony. I think the due date's in like 2 days, but like I said before, I like to get the stuff in early. I've already started on some techniques straw that I'll be using on your piece. I don't know if you saw my any of the recent posts on Twitter, but I've been playing around with some new brushes and stuff that I'm pretty stoked to try out. Pretty excited to try out. And I think the outsider piece is going to be a great place to kind of tie them all together. I want it to be like a level up piece. What? Got banned from another streamer for inside jokes? What in the world? Nonsense. Nonsense. So let me bring one up real quick. So, quick aside, let me save. Let me open. I'm going to open two of them. So, one is kind of a Frank Frazetta study that I did for a Warhammer fan art thing. I just wanted to do that. but also did a new portrait and did so here's a new portrait study I did some chaos in the background, because I know we talked about a little bit of chaos in background, but like these different brushes and the brush types and stuff, kind of the blends, just really cool repetition stuff. Pretty neat. But then the other rendering practice I did was that Frank Frazetta study, which is this one. So I'm really thinking that this might be the type of look that the Outsider one is going to be. A very kind of classical fantasy look, but it's going to have the nice graphite, good render in the middle whenever I print it out. So yeah, hoping that it's going to come together, because this is really fun to work on. Like, I like working this way. I just don't do it a lot for client stuff. I do it more for that. So if you have a preference on what style you enjoy better, I can make it happen. So, but yeah, just fun stuff like that. I also did a funny sketch last night, like 30 minutes. It's gotten all of 0 likes on Twitter, I think, which is always good. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But yeah, I kept it really sloppy, really loose. So really cool, like, you know, I dig paintings like this. I really like it because it makes a shape and it makes a composition, but it's not very tight. It's not very tightly rendered. You can even see the canvas texture and all that stuff, to where not all the paint went through it. I love working like this. I love it. It's just not applicable to client work a lot. So just different perspectives, you know, that kind of working on. I just like it because you can see every single brush stroke, and then it makes a full-on piece. But anyway, that's a side note. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited because I actually reinstalled Dishonored. For the same thing, I want to get the vibe correct. I want to get the feel right. The colors are going to match. I'm a huge nerd, so I want to make sure that I do Dishonored justice, because that game is just beautiful. It is a stunningly gorgeous game. Do some of those, bring that in here. Cool. Let's see. It's getting there. We're getting there. I think this blue is a little too purple. A little bit too purple. So we're going to bring this over. We're going to bring this chroma in a little bit. Just that. That's a little purple, so we're going to bring it into the blue. Maybe even the teal to really compensate. There we go. Alright. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. It's kind of what we want. Then here... There we go. That. There we go. So, I think we're about done with this one, and then I'm going to go and do some last minute tweaks as far as the hue saturation values, the curves, the levels, because remember, we need this to read well tiny. Now, you don't need to see exactly every detail. You know, doesn't need to be like a 30-foot tall painting worth of stuff, but you want the overall glass shatter composition to read okay. So we're really going to emphasize that for the finishing touches. And then here we go. So right now I'm kind of adding what's called greebles. Greebles are just little bits of detail. Doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter where they're at. It's just a way to add visual interest to something. Normally when you think of greebles, you think of like little specks on a spaceship, or like all the little lights and compartments on the Death Star or something. Like those are greebles. So like you might even see me do like just tiny little cross hatching, or like, oh, here are the lines right here, you know, that sort of look, because that just adds a little bit of visual interest. It doesn't even need to be anything. There we go. So like separate those out a little bit. Cool. All right. So we are getting there. I'm gonna sharpen that edge a little bit. There we go. So, oh, and then let me, there we go. Kind of soften that in. Yeah, I think we're about there. I think it's just now, it's just finishing touches. So let's, first thing we're gonna do, so got that. Let's make a new folder to put all this in. Boom. All right. All right. So we got this. Now's the fun part where we're going to do the brightness contrast pass. We're going to do some slight color tweaking. Now this is what we consider post-processing. This is where you do the finishing touches, not really more painting. I think our painting's kind of done. Like what we have is kind of what we want. But now it's how can we bring out the parts of the painting that we like the most, that we want the focal points on. This is a very critical part of it because this can be a do or die, which is nice. We already have the painting, so the painting's done. Depending on how we make the values and the focal points and the blurs and that type of stuff, can really change what the main idea is, or it can emphasize what the main idea is. So it's very, very critical that we keep the overall idea of shattered glass. That's the goal. All of these other things are considered bonuses. These are separate realities that are being shattered based on the Calamity. So the glasses are number one. Then our number two would probably be, okay, the child, Koro, Dagon's main head, Dagon's secondary head right here, the beheaded one, and then basically we're just using our warrior as a bridge between the two Dagon heads. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. So first thing we're going to do, we are going to do a brightness contrast pass. Brightness, we are going to bring the brightness down and the contrast up. Bring the brightness down a little bit more. So right now this looks really dark, right? Here. What we do is we get our soft round brush and we airbrush away the parts that we want to be the focal point because they are going to be brighter. So, Koro's head, number one. child number 2. Beheaded head number 3. It's head number 4. Now, I really do like the glass shard effect right up here, and we even had Anthony, our art director, comment that he really liked the glass up on this side. So we're actually going to bring that forward. Then where else can we do that glass like that? So maybe like right here, there's one. Then over by the child, we can maybe hit that glass like this. Something like that. Cool. Maybe this one right here. Pop that glass shard out a little bit. Maybe we pop this one out a little bit because it's right next to the child's face. Same thing here on this one. Same thing on these. Really pop that idea of a glass shard. We can also do it right here. And what's nice about that is we have this look, and then this one would be pretty cool too. Okay. So we have that glass shard look. Now at any time, we can adjust the brightness of the other parts. That's what's so nice about working on masks like that, is you can really fine-tune stuff without being damaging. Because then if we wanted to get rid of it, we just hide the layer, and there it is. But see how much difference there is on the readability and how the glass looks and things like that? It's just a different, you can see all the little nooks and crannies right here, the shattered glass. Even small, that broken glass effect is really pronounced. And that's the goal. That's the whole idea of the composition. So we got that. Yeah, that's cool. We could even come in right here and on the white edges on a few of these, we could really come in and brighten that to really bring home that just overwhelming light effect. So yeah, we're just going in and we're finding, there we go. Look at that. Yeah, that's cool. And then maybe right here, bring that one down. Look at that, man. It's always the post-processing that really makes the main idea pop, and it's just super rad. And also, let's bring the eye a little bit towards our Koro hand design right here. Look at that, and it just sort of fades in, you see? Yeah. See, this is exciting because, I mean, we've looked for so long at this and it looked okay, but now you look at this and it's a different energy. Then let's try a slight hue saturation tweak just to see what it looks like, okay? So really what that is, hue and saturation is just, okay, hue is gonna be what is the color, blue, red, green, yellow, blah, 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 blah. Saturation is your chroma, how bright or intense is the actual pigment of the color. So like if I came in and I did saturation all the way up, look at that, ugh, it's crazy, right? But then if we tweak the saturation down a little bit, everything goes slightly towards more of a gray, black and white stuff. So we can up. Just tweak it a little bit so these colors pop a little more. You don't want it too much. Actually, let's bring that down. And then the lightness, of course, is just basic, your lightness. It's different than brightness and contrast. Lightness is the entire canvas. But then what you're doing with brightness and contrast is you're looking at the value of each pixel. So slightly different. But then with hue, what's funny is you can come over here and really start like, look at that. You can do some crazy tweaking and it changes everything globally. So everything keeps the same color relationships. So it's like trippy. You know what I mean? So if we wanted to push this a little more red, you have something like that. And see, with it and without it, it's not super, it doesn't change a lot. But like if you look at the child and stuff, the pigment's a little more red in the face. These colors right here, your teals and your kind of more saturated reds, those really pop whenever you do a slight tweak like that. Also, something to keep in mind, the art can look fine on a digital screen all day. It will absolutely print darker whenever it's printed. Ink, whenever it settles, and whenever, especially with a card, whenever they seal at the factory, whenever they seal that art and seal the card as one complete thing, the art appears darker. So what you need to do, that's where your brightness contrast control really comes into play. So like with that being said, we can actually bring the brightness up a little bit, not much, because I do like it to have that dark light, kind of your checkerboarding effect. Now, here is a sliver. If you get your notebook out right now, take this down as a note. If you want your whole piece to blend better together, add a subtle noise layer. So noise is like, you know, whenever you watch an old TV and it has that like film grain, think of adding film grain to your art. It's going to lighten it a little bit, but not much. But what it does is it brings all the pixels together for the colors and kind of smooths out transitions. It's not super, it's not one of those things that's super telling, but here's what we'll do. So I will go, we will make a new layer, edit, fill. I'm going to use black. Let me save real quick before I do this. I'm going to add a filter of noise. Add noise. The amount, I don't want it to be at 23%. I'm going to bring this down to about, 16%. So if you look at this, look at those tiny, tiny, tiny little grains right here. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to change this blending mode to screen, and it's going to get rid of all the black. And see, not much of a difference, but then if you turn it off and on, you're going to notice that it lightened everything a little bit. So if you come up here and you see those little grains now, you see those little specks? It's a little overwhelming, so we're going to bring this opacity down to about right there, to about 30%, 32%. It doesn't do a lot, but what it does is it really just ties in your colors and your shapes, and it does a subtle little, it's almost like varnish. If you have a real canvas and you have all the lines and you have all the stuff and you have your paint, and it's looking good, but you want just that little extra pop, that's when you buy what's called varnish, which is a clear coat, and it's almost like syrup. And it's funny, there's a thing called varnish porn. And basically you look at a really good painting and then you pour varnish on it and like spread it around, and it just makes everything pop. It makes it glisten, it makes it really, really cool. So we did that same thing with this noise layer right here. So really it's adding texture. It's really subtle, and see, we have some of this texture right here. You almost cannot tell the difference, but really it just unifies everything together. So it's a subtle thing. It's very subtle, but the devil is in the details. If you want your work to have that slight polish, that slight finish, another thing we can do, let's go to File, Save. We're going to do what's called a high pass layer. So what a high pass layer is it looks for the edges of your art. So if we come over here, we go select all, edit, copy, merge, edit, paste. Then we come over here and we do filter, other, high pass. It's hard to see. Well, maybe it's not hard to see. I don't know. Here, let me cancel. Let me zoom in more. So let's do filter, other, high pass. You see how it does this almost like mosaic look on the edges? What we're gonna do, and that, wow, that radius is actually really small. So almost looks like it's engraved. You see what I mean? And these little edges are popping really, really well. So I can actually change the radius, bring it down a little bit more to where it has kind of the basic shapes. This is actually okay. And then what you do, and now you can see, look, it kind of outlines all of these shapes, right? All of these glass shards. Some of them are really pronounced, some of them aren't. But the ones in the middle are more pronounced, which is what we want. If we come in and we soft light, I think it's soft light. It makes these edges super sharp. Yes. So it's hard to it's hard to see, but like if you look, let's say right here. You look at this line. Here it is off. Here it is on. So you can see that outline is super like crisp. And then what you do and see is just those outlines are a little darker. Actually, let me go to overlay, see what that looks like. So now they're even darker. It's almost like you outlined everything. So now you see the blood's a little more red. You bring this out, you zoom this out. That is a crisp piece of art. Crunchy. Mwah. Yeah. I think Andrew's gonna be stoked. Like, that glass effect is crazy. I'm actually really proud of that. It's so funny how these tiny tweaks in post-processing just, I mean, it brings it to life. It really does. Because, I mean, so basically, or let's do this. Okay, so we have this, select all, edit, copy, merged. And then we're going to edit, paste. Boom. Okay. Let me hide these post-processing. High pass. And this is good because I like keeping these in the PSD file that I'm gonna deliver. That way, if they want to make more slight tweaks whenever they go into development, whenever they go to press, they can tweak what they need to. I want to give them total control. They paid for the art. This is their baby. You know, I want to give them as much info as possible. That way they can make whatever tweaks are necessary. So we have that hue, saturation, brightness, contrast. Okay. So we have these. Bam, bam, bam. Boom. 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 Okay. So this is where we stopped as far as the painting is concerned, right? This is where we were at in regards to that painting. So here's what happens after the post-processing. It does a lot of heavy lifting, and that's a really cool. There's a lot more subtlety now. Like, if you look at this right here just kind of blends together, but after the post-processing, you see these nice little gradients and the outlines of the glass, and like, it's different altogether. It really brings it to life. Yeah. What I could even do, and this is what I'm going to send Andrew, I can always come in after the fact right here and blend some of these harsher lines together, things like that. It's just whenever this is reading at this length, at this size, I should say, that reads pretty well. I like how that looks. I like how that reads. It's easy to parse. It looks like chaos, but that's the whole idea of a card named Calamity. Because here it's just not quite where we want it. It's close, but then after that post-process, man, that just woo. I love post-processing because it makes me look better than what I am. But that is it for today's stream. I am gonna turn this one in, man. Oh, I'm excited. I want to hear Anthony's thoughts. There's probably going to be slight tweaks and stuff, but I feel very, very good about this. So let me do my thanks real quick. Big thanks to Guildhouse Games and the team over at Guildhouse Games and Varia for allowing me to do this series, this art stream series of bringing a card to life. So we have some of the archives up on YouTube right now. They're going to be releasing every day this week. So this one should be out Friday, I should say, of this week, but the whole series is going to be there. You can see it from our 3 thumbnails and our glass pattern that we painted all the way until final. So if you ever wonder what I do for a living, how do I make my money, how do I pay my bills, this is it. So we did some problem solving, we had some knockdown drag out moments, stressful moments, but good time. Just trust the process. Trust it. You're going to run into parts during your art whenever you're making it. It's stressful. It's going to look ugly. It doesn't look the way you want it. Just trust in your ability. Trust in that process. You're going to get through the other side. You're going to learn some lessons. You're going to have some stuff you're really proud of. Not everything's going to work. There's some things on here. If I were to redo this again from scratch, I may change the wizard boy part, you know what I mean? Like Dagon, I would probably sketch out some Dagon designs to get approval, just to get that sorted. That way we wouldn't have to go back and forth between different designs. And that was just me being me. But there's a lot to be proud of on this one. There's a lot of lessons learned to take forward to be even more effective later when we do even more card art. This is card number 3 for Varia that I've done. I've had the pleasure to work on the team with some incredible artists, awesome art director, awesome lore. We're really digging into that lore. So once again, huge shout out to Guildhouse Games. Go buy you a pack of cards, man. Go buy you draft you a deck. Go get you some stuff. They just announced a new cleric class today. I think they're going to be doing some later tonight. They're going to be doing Anthony and a few of the other people over at Guildhouse Games are going to be doing a stream. I will be there. I want to hear what they have to say, some news, stuff like that. But otherwise, Thank you all so much for the support. Take care. I hope to see you soon. We're going to be doing some crazy art next time for sure on stream. But yeah, that's my time. I will see you guys later. Peace.